Good morning, everyone. I'm Dexter-Mazza. I am one of the developers of our DBT Skills in Schools curriculum. It's called DBT STEPS-A. This is the book. We are here for our student skills for surviving and thriving during COVID-19 and beyond. Our COVID experience is now coming on to week 10. And so what we do is, along with Liz, and Liz, can you introduce yourself here? You can say hi.
Good morning, everybody. I'll see you shortly.
We put together a curriculum that teaches emotional regulation skills, coping strategies, decision-making skills with our family here. So we put that together with a couple of other authors. We want to teach our kids when we're doing online schooling about social emotional learning. So if we got to be the teachers, we wanted to establish a curriculum there that would also teach them coping strategies and decision-making during this difficult time. And so those of you that are feeling a little bit of the COVID creep and the COVID fatigue, let us know in the chat box. That would be great. And I'm going to introduce my class. So we're going to go live with our class here so that maybe you can learn some of the skills yourselves or have your students learn them as well. So, Jackson, let's start with you.
My name is Jackson. I am 13 and I am in 7th grade.
My name is Grace. I'm 8 and I'm in 2nd grade.
My name's Ashton. I'm 12 and I'm in 6th grade.
Great. All right. So we've got elementary school, we've got middle schoolers here. And so one of the things that we want to make sure that we do is try to hit the age group or the developmental periods for each one of our students here. Hopefully we'll be able to catch the developmental period for your students at home as well. So before we begin, I have a couple announcements to make. And so first, on June 16th, we have a live question and answer with Liz and myself for surviving through COVID. So it's sponsored by the Forefront in Schools and it's sponsored by the Mental Health Technology Transfer Center. All right, and so that'll be, you can go to our website, DBT in Schools, June 16th. That'll be at 10 to 11 p.m. Seattle time or Pacific time. All right, and the second one is come and join us during Monday, Wednesday, and Friday mornings, 7 a.m. on Facebook Live or Instagram. We do a half-hour-ish type of show where we're talking to parents about how it is going through COVID-19. With that, I am going to start our class with a mindfulness exercise. So, Liz, we're going to have you join us. Ashton, I'm going to have you explain it to everyone. This is actually, mindfulness is one of our core components. We've talked about it before. And so this is going to be a fully participate exercise, right? And so what we want you to do is not worry about making some sound. We're going to play the game called Pterodactyl, thank you. And not worry about what's going to happen in the future, all right? And so what we want to be able to do is just be in the moment, all right? And so that'll be important. So participate is a what skill, all right? And so we want you to go 100% in during that time and be non-judgmental during that, okay? So let's come on up. Ashton, why don't you go ahead and explain? Come on back up to the middle here, Ashton, so you can explain it.
Okay, so Pterodactyl is a game where everyone stands in a circle like that. It doesn't really matter how big. And then someone starts by saying pterodactyl, and then it goes to the next person, and they say pterodactyl. And if you want to switch the order, you make it like a random pterodactyl noise, like or whatever. But the catch is you can't show your teeth at all unless you're out, so you have to be like
and then it switches which way it was going.
Yeah.
Okay.
Screaming switches the way it was going.
Do we think that we have that? All right. Let us know if there are any questions there. And then we're going to do this for roughly 90 seconds, 2 minutes. We'll see where it goes. All right. Be in the moment. That's the key. We want you just fully participating in the moment. All right.
And we want you to try this at home if you're there with either just yourself to practice making the noises, or if there's more than one person with you, to jump in and mindfully participate and practice in a way that you can, whatever setting you're in right now at home.
All right. So, Ashton, it was your request for pterodactyl. You get to start.
Okay.
And Jim, will you just shift your
I need to. Okay.
stand?
Oh, that way.
Go.
You're in the way, Jackson.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. All right.
Now I can see Grace.
It's all good.
Right there.
There we go.
You go ahead.
Pterodactyl.
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 Pterodactyl. Pterodactyl.
Caracal. And stop. All right. So in your chat bar.
Wait, were you saying
What was
Terabak?
that like at home? You go
Yeah,
ahead
I
and put
can't
that
tell.
information in
Yeah.
there. Thank you for
Terabak.
participating. And then in the meantime, I'm
I
going to
can't
debrief
say it.
and see what that was like for our class here. And then we'll see if we can't compare notes, okay? Great.
What does debrief mean?
Debrief, good question. So
Yeah.
Ashton asked, what does debrief mean? Debrief means that you kind of talk about what just happened. So you get debriefed. You talk about the situation, what you just experienced. So because this was a what skill, right, and it was fully participating, I want you now to describe in facts, right, that's one of our other what skills, what you noticed during this exercise.
Wordful watching.
Okay? So you want
Wordful watching.
wordful watching would be you when you're describing it, that's right. So we do wordless watching as observe, we do describing as putting words to it, right? So Jackson, what'd you notice?
That Grace was.
Saying.
What I heard was that Grace saying Terabak.
Yeah, I was kind of getting some of the same thing. The word of pterodactyl seemed to have Grace seemed to have transitioned it to something different.
Terabak.
Okay.
She's up.
And there was an observation from home that Grace did not say pterodactyl that often.
No.
Terabak.
Ashton, what'd you notice?
That you would go.
Almost the whole time.
You said
So
pterodactyl
can
twice.
you put that in the words? No, I think I said many more
You
times.
said
than
it twice.
that. We have a
Twice.
tape. We'll go back and watch the tape.
Okay.
So you notice that I raised my arms. That would be the description, right? Okay, Grace, what did you notice?
My cheeks felt so bad, and instead of me going like this, I was going like I was putting this lip
Right.
over here.
Okay, and I started to see a little bit, maybe of teeth up for you, Grace, too, when you were, because your mouth was getting sore.
Yeah, my mouth got so sore.
All right, Jax, what else did you notice?
That I was mostly in the middle of you two.
Yep. All right. And I don't think Jackson, did you say pterodactyl? Did you do the sound of pterodactyl at all?
Nope.
You did not. So you were aware of that. Yeah. All right.
Me
That
and
sounds good.
Mommy went back and forth at one point. We were like,
Yeah, you guys went back and forth, back and forth. I'm like, okay, who's gonna stop doing this? All right, which one of you? So I did notice that, right? So that'd
Yeah,
be
that's
good.
what I
All
said
right.
too. Like,
So, Mom, any notices, any observations on your part?
I noticed anticipation of when was it going to get to me, and then it wouldn't, so I had to like tolerate the urge to not go again, to not say something.
Great. All right. With that, it was good to get up and move a little bit. So
And how is this relevant? Why would we practice this?
we're practicing this to strengthen our mindfulness skills, right? And the idea is that what we want to do is be able to put our mind where we want it to be, not our mind putting us in a place that we don't want it to be, right? And so that's right. And so when we talk about the skill of participate, it's about being just in the moment, just that moment, not the second that's coming, not the second that just passes, just this moment, so that you can experience it non-judgmentally, which is one of our house skills, right? So that you're just not making judgments for yourself and you're just enjoying that moment. And so often now we try to capture moments instead of enjoying the moments, and we worry about what other people are going to think, and so we can't enjoy that time either with them, or we begin to doubt ourselves in how we experience moments. And so this idea is to just be in that moment without any worries about how people are judging us or what they're thinking about us. All right. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Fantastic.
All right.
All right. Good morning, more formally, everybody. I am Dr. Lizz Dexter-Mazza and the mom of this classroom and crew here today. So today, I'm really excited that we are going to be teaching the skill of dialectical thinking. And you guys hear that word around the house a lot, and we talk a lot about it. So we're going to explain to everybody what that means. Before we do that, I just wanted to show you guys kind of where we are with one of our slides that you've been watching us from week to week, so you know just kind of where we're talking about with our sets of skills. In general, all of our skills that we teach in this curriculum fall on two sides of the balance, on either acceptance and validation skills, like our mindfulness skills and our distress tolerance skills, or they're more change-oriented problem-solving skills, like our emotion regulation skills, which we just finished up teaching last time, and the interpersonal effectiveness skills that we're going to move into. And so right now, we are in an area where we're teaching us now the dialectical balance between those two, looking at where those find balance from side to side, right? That's kind of the center of the seesaw. And that's what we're going to talk about. How do we find that middle path, use this dialectical thinking to get us unstuck when one side is weighted heavier than the other. So that's kind of where we're going to go today. So go forward one more slide there. Okay, so why dialectical thinking? Can you guys think about what dialectical thinking is? Do you have any ideas? And you have a handout there, but I don't even actually think you need it. But Grace, tell us what you think dialectical thinking is.
I think it's when something can be this way and it can also be this way.
Exactly. It's when two things can be true at the same time. That's exactly right. Okay?
Pinball.
So, right, pinball, playing pinball is when two things can be true at the same time. Can you throw up that next slide for us for just a minute? Ashley, any thoughts on what dialectical thinking means for you?
Like, something can be good at the same time, but also be bad.
Right, so two things are true at the same time. So that's really what we're thinking about. We use dialectical thinking to kind of expand our thoughts and options and to help us get unstuck and be more flexible, right? That things aren't all good or all bad. Do you guys ever have that experience? And you at home, do you ever have the experience where you get stuck in all or nothing thinking? Like something's all good or all bad? Sometimes people call this black and white thinking. Have you ever had that experience?
Yes.
Yes. Can you give us any examples? Can you think of times when you've been in all or nothing thinking? And same for you at home. Examples of when you get stuck in all or nothing thinking?
No. I don't remember.
You can't remember one? Grace or Jackson, can you think of some of that? How about you, Grace?
I'd have to think of
You want to think for a moment? All right. Because I'm thinking sometimes this happens for you, like when you feel like you're getting rushed. Mm-hmm. So if you can think of an example around that, all right? And we'll come back to it. Oh, you got one? Go for it.
Getting out the door to get to school that happens before COVID-19.
Before COVID-19? And what would happen for you?
I'd forget my backpack.
You'd forget your backpack and we'd start rushing you. And then what would you start saying to yourself or to us?
Stop rushing me!
Mm-hmm. Or you'd say, everybody rushes me all the time. Everybody says I'm slow. Right? And then it would get you really upset. So that all or nothing thinking gets us really upset and kind of can help to escalate the intensity of our emotions and make them bigger and bigger. So what we're thinking about when I think dialectical and getting away from that all or nothing, it's how do we find a middle path? So it's not all black or all white.
It's
right?
orange.
It's orange? How do you put black and white together and get orange?
Because
she saw a meme where there's this guy who's like, I got black, I got white, what you want? And then the other guy says orange.
Gotcha, so it's from a meme. So typically, in the primary color world, when you put black and white together,
You
what
get
do you
gray.
You get gray, right? And gray's kind of like a compromise. And when you guys do compromises, do you think people are always typically happy when they have a compromise?
No.
No, because you kind of get sort of what you want, but not really, and the other person didn't get it. So what we're thinking about here is when we're stuck in all or nothing thinking or black and white thinking, we're not looking for gray. We're looking to put those two colors together and end up with polka dots or a checkerboard where we can honor both sides of each side of the dialectical dilemma.
Checkerboard sounds neater.
A checkerboard, right?
Sounds neater.
Or like my pants, you can see the black and the white in my pants.
You can see the blue, pink, and white.
Right, the blue and the pink in your pants, right?
And
We're not
the white.
looking at one or the other. So that's what we're thinking about when we're talking about dialectical thinking, is like, how do we hold up both sides of balance in that? All right, so you guys just gave me a little hint of an idea of an example that you had when something could be both good, for lack of a non-judgmental term, right? Something that we like, and bad, something we don't like at the same time. Who wants to tell me about that example? Ashley, you want to tell us about the example of something that can be dialectical, because it's both good and bad, or you like and dislike at the same time. Both sides are true. Give us the example, and make sure you talk loud enough so everybody can hear you.
Okay, so if you've ever played pinball, you'd know, like, if you get a high enough score, you'll get, like, 2 balls at the same time. And it'll start going up, like, in the number of balls. So, if you're, like, playing, and then you have 2 balls, and you're, like, fingering the things, like, do. And then, one of the balls, like, falls down in the middle. It's like, oh, that's a bad thing. Well, it's not bad. It's just, like, sad and kind of, like, disappointing. Oh, no, you lost a ball, so that's, like, not good. But the good thing is you still have one left, so you can still play.
Mm-hmm. And what's the thing, so those are 2 sides of that, right? Any other things, thoughts you guys can think about for, like, what you like and don't like about the multi-ball bonus? Grace?
I like ramen, but I don't like the vegetables in it.
Oh, so that's not about pinball, but like, oh, you can see the things that you like about ramen soup and the things you don't like about it. So it's not that because I don't like something, I don't like any of it. You like some of the ingredients and not all of the ingredients. That's a great way to think about dialectics.
Ingredients that you put in. Because
You know, Jackson, can you think of anything? You want to add anything to either of those? No? I was also thinking, Ashley, about when I play the multi-ball bonus. Like, I love it, right? Because if you get rid of one, if you lose a ball, then it's totally fine and you have more.
But it's so stressful.
The thing I don't like about multi-ball bonus, you got it, Grace, is like she just said, it's so stressful. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, like there's so many things coming. Which ball do I pay attention to? And I start feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I don't really love that kind of stress and anxiety it puts on me to be in the multi-ball bonus.
And somehow Daddy can aim his balls.
Yeah.
So from home, someone commented that they don't like carrots. It all depends on how they're cooked, right? And so maybe there's a dialectic that's there.
But I do like them in hummus.
Well, that's
right. So you like you don't like plain carrots, and you like carrots in hummus, and you like raw carrots, and you don't like cooked carrots, which is why you don't like them in the ramen.
I don't like carrots at all.
So you can like carrots and not like carrots. It all just depends. And I think that's
you
a great
don't like carrots, and you still eat them.
No.
Right, so those are kind of different ways of thinking about dialectics. Right, so that's what I want you guys to be thinking about today is like, how does this kind of thinking to expand why it's so important? So let's talk about, kind of just what are some of the next parts of dialectics that we want to look at, right? And so with that, we'll go to this next slide, right? So dialectical thinking, right? First, we're going to think here that there's more than one way to solve a problem, right?
Yes.
Right? So when we get stuck in something, we can look at multiple solutions. That it doesn't have to be, well, I can't wear these pants to school, so then I'm not going to school at all. Right?
Destroyed.
Right? That there could be multiple options for what
you could go to school without wearing those pants.
You could go to school wearing different pants, or maybe there's something that we could do to fix the pants you want to wear to be able to wear them. Right? So that's kind of what we're looking at, is how is there more than one way to solve a problem? So Jackson, on the top of your handout, the third point down, what does it say?
Change is the only constant. Constant.
Change is the only constant. What do you think that means?
The only constant is change.
Yeah, what do you think that means? That change is the only constant.
What do you mean, like, the only constant?
Change is the only thing that happens all the time.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
It happens a lot.
It happens a lot, and now you just made it different.
You can't avoid change. So here's a question. How many of you like change? You embrace like, oh, I love change. I love when things unexpectedly happen and change occurs.
Depends.
It depends?
Yeah, it definitely depends.
What does it depend on?
Depends. If it's like a beneficial change or it's like a terrible
change. So it depends on kind of the outcome of it.
You get changed and you get held back. It's like,
Or all of a sudden, like maybe your parents said like, hey, something has changed for us and we are going to move. We're going to leave this house in the city that we're living in.
I refuse.
And we're moving somewhere else.
No.
Oh, I just set off a button there. You guys don't like the idea of moving. Like that would be change you wouldn't
I
want.
didn't like the moving of a living room.
Right. And then you got used to it. Right? So change. Yeah.
Yeah, so people are talking about in the chat box, thank you for putting it in there, that they don't like change. Change is hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I think COVID-19's really impacted us a lot too, because we didn't ask for this change. Okay? So keep that. Okay.
Right. So people often don't like change. This is a hard time. And really kind of walking through this of like, change is constant. Do you know that you've actually changed since this morning?
Yes.
How so?
Clothes.
Oh, your clothes?
No.
What else? What else has
Yes.
changed for you since this morning?
I have probably gotten 1 more ounce of milk.
So your body has changed on like a molecular level, right? Like you've taken in food and that's changed on a molecular level.
I got taller.
3 more hours of sleep.
You got 3 more hours sleep, so that probably changed and let your body and your brain clean up overnight and get fixed, right?
5?
Yeah, and so we're constantly changing. Or like, you guys learned, like you've grown like 2 or 3 inches in the last year, right? That was change that happened over time. So change is constant, right? It's something we have to embrace, and we can't say, I don't like change. So dialectical thinking helps us get unstuck from that not wanting to change place, okay? We already talked about this idea that 2 opposites can be true at the same time, that we can like something and not like it at the same time. And that's going to help us when we start thinking about perspective. How do you find different perspectives on things as we go through that? Okay? And so kind of keep walking through that. And the way that we do this is by finding how to honor the truth in both sides. Ashton, will you read this last point here for me? Oh, you have your... Okay, right there. What's the 4th point on here?
Avoid assumptions and blaming.
Right? I'm sorry. Nope, right up here. I went too far. Right there.
The one on the very bottom.
Yeah.
Trying to honor the truth on both sides of a conflict is the best approach.
Yeah, we keep talking, but you can't cover your face with that.
Trying to honor the truth on both sides of a conflict is the best approach. This does not mean giving up your values or selling out. Avoid seeing the world in black or white, all or nothing ways. Try to honor the truth on both sides does not mean compromise.
Right, so that's kind of what we just talked about. We're not going to get stuck in compromise. We're going to find a middle path or a synthesis. So I want to talk to you guys about a couple different ways that we can do that. What are some strategies we can use to find how to get into dialectical thinking and balance both sides? So we're going to go through a couple examples, but I want to go through a couple points with you first. So you guys can flip over your handouts so you can see what they are. And the first one is my favorite one.
Oh, no.
So Grace, you read the very first one on hints for thinking and acting dialectically. Oh, you don't have a backside. Here, Grace, read mine. Right there, that very first one.
Move into both and think away from either. Move into both and think away from either or thinking. Avoid extreme words such as always, never, and you make me.
Okay, so what's my favorite word to use at home?
And.
Dumb.
And. Ashton.
Well, you go like, don't be dumb.
No, my favorite word is to use and. That was in last week's class. We used the word dumb a lot. That was just as an example.
Don't be dumb.
So, and, right? And what word do I want and to replace?
But.
But, right? We want the
Because
power
but is a
of
big
and.
eraser.
You got it, Ashton. But when we use the word but in our language, it acts like a really big
Ashton.
eraser, and it wipes out anything that comes before it. So if I say, I love you,
But.
I can't stand when you do this behavior.
Ooh.
That means you don't really love
Right? Does
them.
it feel like I just don't really love you? It just kind of ignores it?
Yeah.
Right? But if I say, I love you, and I can't stand when you do this behavior.
You changed the word.
I changed the word. And does it feel differently when you hear that? Like for me, I always think of when I hear the word but, my ears close. But when I hear the word and, it leaves them open. And I can receive the information or the feedback somebody's giving me. That can be a little bit different there. What kind of examples can you guys think of difference between but and?
But is spelled B-U-T and is spelled A-N-D.
That is a nice describe non-judgmentally.
They have different
And
letters.
can you think about now what is options here?
And put something like here, and then it puts something above it, like to the side of it, like next to it, and then but just goes here, and then it just knocks it down and replaces it.
Oh, I like how you think about that.
They're
Like
both conjunctions.
they just kind of hold it together there, right? So we want to get rid of our buts, right? Everybody's going to practice getting rid of their buts. And in conversation, ask like, okay, I want to go to the store, but I don't have any money. Versus, I want to go to the store and I don't have any money. Opens me up to finding maybe how can I get some money? Do I need to ask for somebody for it, or do I have to realize like I can't go and that's a bummer, right? So it opens me up to seeking for other solutions and to be able to hold both sides of that. So I want you all to really practice using the word and in your conversations. And if you can make an agreement with the people in your house, this is a great practice for you to say, hey, can we start mindfully noticing when we use the word but and calling it out kindly to each other so we can practice replacing it with the word and. I have a feeling if you start doing that at home, that your conversations and your relationships may go a bit smoother and your relationships might improve a bit more. So try that at home. Okay, here's another thing I want you to think about for another hint for acting and thinking dialectically. I want you to practice finding the kernel of truth in the other side.
The kernel?
The kernel of truth, like the small thing that, well, how could something be different and getting us away from the always and never, right? Things are, COVID-19 is all bad.
It is.
Right?
Not.
How can you say, well, how do I bring up the other side?
I like cornhole and I like
Right?
basketball.
And I can ask, like, what am I leaving out? Right? Is there some things that maybe I do like about COVID-19? And we're gonna and we're gonna come to that and do an example of that in just a minute. But that's another thing. Think about asking yourself these questions at home when you start getting stuck in everybody's always rushing me out the door. Is there am I leaving out the other side? Right? To kind of find that balance. If I'm way teetered over here, how do I bring up the other side to help get some balance on that? All right? Also, no one has the absolute truth, right? We can get rid of those always and nevers that way.
Like, I am always correct and you are always wrong.
Right, and that can't, since there's no absolute truth that way, we can't have that side. And then the last one that I think is really important is to not make assumptions, right? And not make assumptions about what you think other people are thinking and doing, okay? Right? So we might ask ourselves, what did you mean when you said this?
Yeah.
Right? Or it's kind of going back to our skill of check the facts.
Yeah, because then you could assume something and it's wrong, and then you make the person like even more mad,
or you get angry because you assume that they were judging you or they were asking you to do something you didn't want to do.
But they weren't.
Right? So it's really important. Like, when you said this, was this what you were asking for? So some clarifications. Or I'm not going to assume that everybody can read my mind. Right? That if I say, oh, I'm hungry, I'm not going to assume that means your dad knows he should go get me some food. Or if I say I'm thirsty, I'm not going to assume that he's going to bring me a drink. Right? Because I didn't ask for it.
Yeah.
So I have to say, things like, oh, what I'm trying to say is, I'm thirsty, would you mind go getting me a bottle of water? I'm going to make sure that I'm not thinking that other people can read my mind either.
Because then if they don't, and then you get mad, and they're like, well, I didn't. Then they're like, well, you didn't say that. And it's like, well, I shouldn't have to.
Exactly, right? And that then gets impacted in our relationships. Yes?
So we have some input from our audience, which is great. That change can keep us from getting bored, too, which is great, right? Change is hard, and it can keep us from getting bored. Mm-hmm. So I think those are important types of things to remember.
Right? I love that use of and.
He very emphasized
Change is
it.
hard, and it has benefits on that.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's practice some of these things, right? Let's figure out, how do we use dialectical thinking to find different perspectives, right? How do we use it to get ourselves unstuck and to see the other sides? And given the reason that we are all doing school from home right now, I thought we would talk about finding a dialectical synthesis about how COVID-19 is happening for me
Not
on one
to
side,
me. Not
and
against me.
on the other side, how COVID-19, like you guys said, is either against me or happening to me.
Yeah.
Okay? So let's do that. And I want you guys to kind of generate the two sides of it. And the same for you all at home, to help us figure out how COVID-19 is against me and how COVID-19 is for me.
I thought it was happening to me and happening for me.
Yeah, it can be to or against, right? Same. That's the same concept.
Okay.
All right. So start throwing out ideas. Tell me where they go on sides, and you guys at home, I want the same thing from all of you to tell me how COVID-19 is happening to you or against you versus COVID-19 is happening for you.
It's happening for you. You get more time with your family.
More family time. You get brownie points for that, Ashton.
Yeah.
Right? Because you want to spend more time with your family.
What have I done?
I'll make sure that happens. Okay.
Uh-oh.
To us or like against us is like all the things you're missing out. Like you can't do a
You
lot of
can't fully
things.
interact.
So
Oh.
you're missing interactions
like physical interactions.
in person. Okay. What were you saying, Jackson?
You didn't. Say
Well, not really. I mean, you can go on socially distanced walks, bike rides.
So that's something, right? That's not. We'll talk. That's something. That's what kind of a middle path you found on some of that. Okay. So what are some things that are happening for you that you see as the benefit of COVID-19?
More sleep.
Oh, you're getting more sleep. You're
We
getting
get
to
to
sleep
more
later.
cornhole.
Grace is getting more cornhole.
I
We
want
get
to
to
go
watch
to
a
sleep
show
now.
every night.
Oh, we're kind of watching family shows together.
I learned
Okay.
family dinners and no going out to dinner.
Oh, that's happening for us. We're saving money because we're not going out to dinner. Okay. And what do we have from home coming in?
A dog.
All right. What about other things that we don't like about COVID? Oh, you got something?
Yep, less rushing around.
Okay.
That's a good thing.
Well,
not
A
rushing.
dog.
Well, I think it's a good thing. So that's for us, right? I can't see my friends that really annoy my friends, and that's really annoying. So they miss their friends a lot.
Yep. Missing friends.
Okay.
Wait, how many are
How
really
many wheelies were there?
Against would be a restricted movement.
I'm thinking for you guys also missing soccer and ballet, restricted movement.
What does restricted movement mean?
Yeah.
There's restrictions. Do you know what restrictions means?
Yes.
There are restrictions on your ability to go places and do things.
Limited mobility.
Limited mobility outside of our house. Yeah.
LM.
Okay. So interestingly, you guys were much faster at coming up with things that were kind of like how COVID-19 is happening for us. I'm thinking a ton, like I'm saving so much money on gas. Because I filled my car up once with gas in like the last 2 months.
Another thing that's against us is if something bad happens, like my parents aren't gonna go replace it. Like 3 of our fishies died, and
there's
our parents are refusing to get us 3 new ones.
no
But if our
new
frog
fish.
dies, they have to go
Right,
get
because
us new ones.
we're not going to the pet store right now because we've been avoiding stores, so there's no new fish coming in.
If we get hurt, you're not taking us to the doctor.
If you get hurt, I don't want to take you to the doctor, right? I want to avoid going to the hospital. Which often, I just say, in
Which I
non-COVID-19
was about
times,
to
I'd
get
like to avoid going to the
stitches.
hospital as well.
Fear of going to the grocery store. That's a good one.
Oh, that's scary.
Let me add that one.
Fear the grocery. All right, so are you guys able to get the idea here that when we have perspective, we get unstuck from the COVID-19 is all bad? Because we're starting to see why it's happening, how it could be happening for us. What are the benefits that we're getting out of it, right? For us, we've noticed like our life was so busy.
It was so jam-packed.
Packed with all of your after-school activities and everything, and going from one place to the other and carpool.
And now we're questioning going back to all that carpool and jam-packedness.
Right, like do we want to go back to that level of busyness? Or do we kind of have to figure out our own middle path when restrictions start to go away and we can start socializing again? How much do we want to go back to the way things were pre-COVID-19? So going through this dialectical synthesis and this exercise will help us to figure that out when the time comes. All right, other questions or thoughts about this at home? So I'm going to do one more quick exercise with you guys, because there's been a topic that keeps coming up in our house.
I want a dog.
And I have a
Dog?
feeling, I keep hearing and seeing on social media
I want a dog.
that this is
Our
happening.
friends.
Hold on a second. Hold on, guys. This keeps happening, with other families that we see, that this question keeps coming up, that there seems to be lots of people getting COVID-19 dogs all of a sudden because you are home. And we've talked for a long, long time about wanting a dog.
But we can't get one because we travel too much.
And we've never been able
But
to really get
now,
one because we travel so much. Mom and Dad travel for work, and then we all travel as a family to visit our other family
but not
quite a bit.
anymore. Now.
And trying to really walk through that. So now the question has come up over and over. So we thought we'd use this as our example. And if this is a conversation you've been having at home, I want you to join in here. So we're trying to find a dialectical synthesis next on this idea of getting a COVID-19 dog or not getting a COVID-19 dog.
And one of our audience members said too, and cats. So
Or cats, right.
We talk about dogs, but other people,
He's a
I know, but other people may not be.
Right. So whatever your COVID-19 pet might be,
But I don't want another fish because we have many, many fishes.
the fish have always been our synthesis to having a pet in this
We
house.
should get a snake.
So
Yes, we should
COVID-19
get a
pet
snake.
versus no COVID-19 pet.
No COVID-19
Okay.
pet would be boring.
So
Except for
Yes.
jelly.
let's
Jelly's
talk
awesome.
about, and because this is kind of
Yeah,
the way that we're going to help ourselves to get
Jelly's
unstuck,
awesome.
because Mom and Dad are on the side of no COVID-19 pet. And you guys are on the side of we want a COVID-19 pet. But what I need from you guys is to help see
3, 2.
the perspective in each side. So I'm going to have you guys and you at home work on, okay, what are the reasons that you want a pet? What are the reasons that Mom and Dad don't want a pet?
I don't know. You guys have it.
Okay, and then we'll kind of go back and forth on those two sides. So we're going to see how do we understand the other person's perspective. And just a hint to all of you at home, this is also the foundation for building validation and empathy for other people to understand somebody else's side. So this can also help you with your relationships later on.
We also want to say too that even going through this exercise does not mean that you need to buy a COVID-19 dog or cat either. So we're not trying to convince anybody to buy or not to buy anything. This is a family decision.
Except
finding
we're,
the middle
we're,
path.
we're trying to convince
You guys
them.
try to convince. So
We're
let's
trying to
start with,
convince
here's
them,
what I
so
want to start
they'll
with.
convince us.
What are the reasons, the perspective of Mom and Dad as to why you think we might not want a pet, and specifically a dog for our family? We wouldn't get a cat because we have allergies and we can't have one.
Because it
Dogs
sheds
are
fur.
They shed a lot.
They go bark, bark.
They shed. They can be loud.
They're potty trained.
They can make a mess.
They need to be potty trained. Jackson just
Where
said
will
They'll
they?
need training.
We need to walk them like twice a day.
We need to keep them occupied.
They need walking. You guys are giving me all the reasons.
Clean up their poopy.
Walked and cleaned
Um,
up after.
they need.
To learn tricks. They need to learn.
Do they
I
really?
think it's okay for you to keep it on the
They
slide
need
and
to
not
learn
mess with
how
it.
to.
All right, and also, you guys said it before, we travel a lot for
Not
work,
anymore.
right?
Not
Right?
anymore.
Well, and what happens when restrictions come back, right? Who's
We
going
bring
to take
that.
care of that?
You bring it.
Me.
Right? And so that means we travel a lot, so then they can cost a lot of money, right? Not just in getting
Ding,
the
ding,
dog
ding,
and
ding.
the regular taking care of it.
What if we just put it under the seat like it's
Alright.
a backpack?
Oh, you want to just put it on the seat on the plane, right? And
Yeah, we
so
could
we
just
travel a lot,
stuff
so
it
the
in the
cost of
backpack.
boarding it. All right, so you guys are very aware of a lot of reasons why mom and dad might not want a dog. Okay?
But then those reasons are all the things we can do, and it'll prove responsibility.
Oh, so getting a
then
dog,
we
you're
get
saying it would teach you responsibility.
Yeah.
Okay. What about any input from home on reasons for or not against a pet?
It would
A
keep
pet
us
Would
occupied.
keep us occupied.
Oh, so kind of keep you occupied during the summer?
Fun to cuddle, caring
Yes.
for another living
Cuddle.
being.
Cuddle!
Ooh, that seems to have hit a
Cuddle!
And then, and then,
We have plenty of cuddles in our family
another
time here at
reason
home.
why the parents don't want it is because we could argue who gets to hold the dog or who gets to sleep with the dog.
Oh.
If we get a dog, I need to get like a little slide.
I call
So the
sleeping
dog
with the
can
dog
run
That
first
equals
day.
stress reduction for humans. All right.
Yes!
Pets equal stress reduction.
Pet
I think
reduction.
our audience is starting to go in favor of getting a dog.
See?
COVID.
If we get a dog, I need to get like some weird slides so that the dog can run
Okay.
up the slide.
So
and
other
help me
reasons.
because I have a loft bed.
Other reasons that why you think a COVID-19 dog or other pet may want. What are some things you guys want for a dog?
We're not always on video games to keep us occupied, and we can be
We
with the
can-
dog.
Keep you occupied
We
and
can-
off screens.
We can get a little puppy, and then we can watch the puppy grow into a big dog.
The puppy can watch Merlin with us.
Okay, so you'll have another.
It would be small
activity?
puppy, like small puppy, and then we can see the puppy grow.
Okay.
Should we-
And what's the benefit of watching a puppy grow for you?
It's
Cool.
entertaining, and it's like
Like our growth's entertaining to you guys.
it's like, well, like they're part of your family now, and then like you get to name them, and you get to be
Okay,
like,
so
come
here's
here,
my-
dude.
All right, so here's my next question for you, and I want you guys to think about this. So, what would be the middle path on this, right? We've got
Getting
the
a
idea of
dog.
getting a pet that's going to teach you responsibility. It's going to keep you occupied, especially this summer when there's going to be no camps.
If
Keep
there
you
is.
off screens. It'll help with stress reduction and be entertaining. But the other side is that like it's going to need training and walking, and we travel a lot, so it might cost a lot of money. It's
I
going to
think
shed.
training is
And
one
all
of the
these things that I got to
benefits.
tell you, I don't want to have to do because I have a feeling if often, just like with the fish tank, who's responsible for cleaning the fish tank?
Me.
No.
Yes, I am
That's-
responsible, but
Yeah,
I
you're-
do not do it.
And you do not do it. So I end up cleaning the fish tank all the time. I end up having to take care of
The
it.
dog is different.
Are you going to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and take the dog out for a walk?
Yes, I will.
So I think these are the things we're going to have to figure out
I will
in
wake up at
order to
7
find
o'clock.
our dialectical synthesis.
I will wake up at 7 o'clock. I will do
So,
my
all
chores,
right.
and then I will walk the dog.
Okay, we'll come up with a plan for that.
So one of our contributors here for the Why to Have a Puppy says,
Yes, good
can
job.
you tell we have a new puppy? So they've already got one.
Oh, so see, some of our
Yeah!
COVID-19
Well, then we
dogs.
should get one.
Do what they doing.
You guys are really excited about this, right? So what I need to
Hey,
know.
dog.
Those people
Wait,
are smart.
Okay, listen up for here, because I want you guys to think about it. Because just having this list, this is like the pros and cons kind of. But
We
now the
need a
next
dog.
step for you all to do at home with your list, if you're trying to get a COVID-19 pet or not get a COVID-19 pet, and what we're going to do is
We're
we are
gonna
going
get
to
a
look at this,
COVID-19 pet.
and we're going to say, how do we honor both sides of this dialectic?
I know.
How will we manage the potty training and the walks and the travel and the cost of it with all the benefits? How do we find a middle path? Because pretty much our middle path for the last few years has been a fish tank to getting a pet. And you guys are trying to say, the next step is, how do we find the synthesis in a middle path to move beyond the
A fish.
confined fish tank, which are really pretty fish. And
Except 3 of them have died, and we
you
can't
want to
get
go
new
to the next
ones.
step. So that's what I want you all to practice at home, and then report back to us. You can report back to us on our Facebook page or Instagram page, or you can always come back here and put them in the chat bar as well. I want to know, how you found the dialectical synthesis, whether it's on getting a COVID-19 pet or not, or any other decision you're making yourself or as a family you guys are all making. Post it on our Facebook page or our Instagram pages under DBT in schools.
Yeah, we need reasons why to get a dog.
All right, and these guys clearly want your help on that.
I need help.
So let's wrap up for the day. I'm so glad you guys stuck with us. Here are the take-home points I want you to remember. 1, work on replacing but with and. Right? Practice that and make an agreement with each other at home that you can notice when somebody says but and call them out and encourage them to say the word and. Let's practice letting go of all or nothing thinking, the I always this, I never that, you never, you always. Let's practice letting go of those and replacing that with sometimes this happens, and when it does, I feel this way. And then go back to honoring the truth on both sides of this dialectic and try to find a middle path, whether it's around getting or not getting a COVID-19 pet, or creeping and making decisions in to decrease your social distancing during this time, or any other conversation you're having at home. So work through that. I want to say thank you to all of you for joining us. Our just kind of reminder announcements.
Make sure to subscribe.
Hold on, Ashton. Thank you. Is to remember that we have a Parenting Through COVID-19 live stream every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning with Jim and I on Instagram and Facebook Live, where we're talking about all the strategies that we use and suggestions for the parenting, the partnering, the working, the educating, the teaching through COVID-19. And then Jim and I are also going to be having our second live Q&A sponsored by Forefront and the Mental Health Technology Transfer Center on June 16th at 10 a.m. And if you go to our website, you can get the registration link there. We had a great time at our Q&A this week. We had lots of questions. We've got more questions to answer, and we hope to see you all there. We will be back for Parenting Through COVID-19 tomorrow morning, and then hope to see you all next Tuesday back here in our living room for student life skills to survive and thrive during COVID-19 and beyond. Thanks so much for joining us. You guys
Make
can
sure
now
to
say thank
subscribe
you.
and leave a like.
Okay, say goodbye.
Bye.
Unsubscribe before.